So I'll start with my story first on how I uh, started Nimbus, and then we'll come to what we do and what uh, what is all business and product all about. So I've been a very young techie and geeky since start. I started getting into tech coding right from my high school. So when I was, you could say like in my 10th standard, I started coding, building products, building application. And when I crossed my high school, I believe like traditional education, going for engineering was not something I meant for. And that was the time I started my first tech startup. That was my first tech startup at 18, which was a SaaS-based product. And I was out of a tier 2 city, you could say, a small city in Raipur that's in Chhattisgarh. There was no tech talent. There was nothing as such exposure. I learned everything myself, started coding, started doing sales, started building products, and slowly scaled that business to almost 300 people team in next 2.5 years, you could say. That was my first journey towards entrepreneurship, and that was the time I learned everything about right from coding to selling to hiring to everything about how does a whole business cycle looks like. And then uh, we were managing a lot of big enterprise ERPs and certain products for e-commerce business in India and others. And I could not scale that company further and got hit by demonetization that time. And then I came to Delhi. I started exploring, and I got exposure to the e-commerce industry. Basically, I was when I started as a merchant. I started as a seller. I started selling different products, building D2C brands that time. And I realized like logistics was one of the major pain where we were losing money, not able to control. Not there were a couple of platforms that time, but not enough to sustain basically. And that was a pain point with all different hundreds of small merchants when I heard about. So that was the time we started NimbusPost. We we you could say like launch whole platform right from scratch in just 15 days, you could say. And we were shocked to see like we started with initial 5, 10, 5, 15 beta sellers, some sellers out of word of mouth. And the word of mouth spread so much, we got almost more than 1,000 active sellers in the first month of launching a product, basically. So what we did different was we built the whole product. I built the whole product as being a seller in the pocket, on a seller's pocket. What a seller needs, what a seller needs. We added a lot of things like simple dialer integration for order verification for e-commerce, a lot of small add-ons which make people's life easy basically. And that was one of the reasons we got a good word of mouth and scaled that business pretty quickly. So this is what we offer is like we offer a simple hassle-free shipment. Our target audience is all SMEs and small merchants. Somebody who's not approachable to the big logistics companies, or somebody who's in the middle, just jump starting, maybe somebody who has 2 orders a day, even somebody who's just exploring the idea of getting into e-commerce. And even we have merchants who does 2 to 3,000 or 5,000 orders a day with us, basically. So what we give them is, we give them a single interface to manage their entire shipment life cycle. They get exposure to more than 20, 25 plus shipping partners at one go, where they can choose, book right partners, and they always enjoy a product with a wholesale commercials and a best out of best tech infra, what we do basically. So this were the challenges what sellers have specifically. So when we jumped into the industry, like sellers, there was a lot of limited pin codes, higher shipping rates, no recommendation engines, lack of transparency, and a lot of other insufficient poor services, where we act as a recommendation engine, we act as a technology platform and solve all those challenges down the line, basically. The way we solve is like we are just a plug and play platform. It's not something somebody needs to do a hard copy agreement and onboard. Somebody can onboard with us in a few minutes, you could say, specifically, and go live. And we have a lot of add-ons, like we give them the fraud detection system, multiple courier companies, optimized delivery, personalized post-purchase experience, NDR automations, quicker COD. There are a lot of add-ons and offerings what a merchant get basically on the top of what he's shipping to us basically. So as of now, we have been like this is our current traction. You could say like we've been working with 40,000 plus sellers now. Uh, all this are SMEs and even a couple of big D2C brands in India. Basically, we have a 300 people strong team. What we have built up in the last 2.5 years. We have been going global. We have so setups in a couple of countries in SEA region, GCC, and will be going live very soon. We've been working very aggressively in cross-border, which I'll be sharing ahead on how we're taking Indian merchants to the global space. In terms of fulfillment, we have the solution for the modern D2C brands or e-commerce brands, what they look for, which is a distributed inventory, distributed fulfillment, with a twist of a global fulfillment adding up. And we have been also pivoted towards a SaaS or a technology company. We have been powering SaaS stack for some of the biggest cross-border e-commerce brands in India, some of the biggest 3PL in India, and we have been their technology partner where we manage their entire logistics tech or automations, you could say, at whole. These are some of our recognitions, and yeah, so I'll take. I won't take much of your time. I'll just quickly ramp up to fulfillment and cross-border down the line. Apart from and a SaaS stack, what we have basically. In terms of fulfillment, we do like distributed inventory. Distributed inventory is now there are a lot of startups, there are a lot of people who are doing into it. We do have distributed inventory in a similar way. That's not our core focus, but yes, we've been doing where decentralizing the inventory into multiple warehouses and helping brands to scale. Apart from that, we have been very actively working into the quick commerce space, where we have built a whole dark warehousing network, which we are experimenting with a couple of FMCG brands, where those brands can use our whole dark warehousing networks across cities, across locations, and can use the hyperlocal partners to fulfill their quick commerce as a product down the line. When I come to the cross-border space, so like this is some of the market trend what I would like to share. While e-commerce in India is rapidly growing and scaling, similar is the number for other countries. So this is a trend for just one country, which is like Indonesia, in a SEA region. So if you see, the trend is like by 2025, the e-commerce, this is a comparison of e-commerce and retail in India versus Indonesia, how that's been growing. And this is a similar trend with a lot of other countries out there. So we have been very aggressively working on how we can take this Indian brands or Indian sellers to the basically different countries and help them to scale their volume. While they're scaling in India, if they're able to go to 10 more different countries or 10 more different geographies, they can even do it faster. Although there are a couple of standard solutions, marketplaces who have been doing it, but we have been further extending it and solving it additional layer towards it. So one is like a global selling through organized marketplaces, which has already been happening since years in India using Amazon, eBay, and a lot of other marketplaces basically for selling into global commerce. We have been building a whole solving global distributed distributionship network, where you could say just imagine a merchant. If you're a brand out of India, you want to sell on US or UK or any other country, basically, you get a whole plug and play interface right from sending your inventory from here to US, listing out all your products into different marketplaces out there, and then selling and getting reviews and refilling those inventory down the line. So this is a whole, you could say, real-time replenishment where you're not shipping your product right from India, you're storing at distributed countries and doing this. So we started this model with a couple of D2C brands, and we have been doing this. And this is how we are solving this basically. So this is a solution what we did for Indonesia. So we are using the all tech stack, you could say. So we are using all different logistics partners, fulfillment partners, B2C e-commerce partners, B2B e-commerce partners, which is being present locally into the country, building the whole infrastructure, and then connecting the dot between, let's say, India and Indonesia, or India and US, or India and any other country, basically. In this way, it's a whole tech play where merchant gets access to different geographies. They can expand more rapidly. They would have a native presence, basically. And we are building a whole team of whole infrastructure of like scaling this in a cross-border way, which can be more faster than just selling on marketplaces in traditional down the line. We are even very actively working with multiple government organizations basically. So these are few of the one which we have already associated or we are associating. We are helping a lot of small merchants, SMEs to like jumpstart, onboard into the logistics platform, go global, and even sell it on domestic down the line. Apart from this, we also have a very good tech stack basically, which we have recently launched up. There are a couple of brands who have been already using it, which is like the major industry challenge. What happens in D2C brands is there are more than 20 or 25 different tools. What an e-commerce seller need to use? If you go to any e-commerce seller and check his journey, he will start with multi-channel integration. He'll be having Unicommerce or Vinculum, something to fetch their orders. He will have certain logistics allocation platforms, something like EasyShip or like ClickPost, where he can do the courier allocation. Then there'll be aggregators or a courier platform, what he's going to plug out. Then there'll be different platform for notification. So the entire journey of a D2C brand or an e-commerce is very disturbed or very, you could say, distinguished. So what we've built is, we built a whole stack, which we call it as NimbusOS, basically, which is like one stack which connects with any open tools. So let's say if you're using a multi-channel tool, Unicommerce, you can plug Unicommerce. You can use any platform for logistics. You can use any courier. You can use any notification platform. You can plug any tool. You could say more than we have more than, you could say, 200 plus integration in India and international markets even. And you can simply plug and you get a single user journey. So what we are solving is like in e-commerce or in D2C, once you are scaling, managing 20 different tools, setting up 20 different tools is tough. And we give you one interface to manage everything. Because as a technology platform, nobody can expertise over everything. As a platform, if I expertise on shipping, I cannot go and jump into multi-channel tomorrow. I cannot go and jump to the customer support tomorrow. So what I built is I built a layer on top of everything where I solve the challenge for a merchant where he gets everything at one place or one stack to manage. So this is our D2C e-commerce stack, basically tech stack, what we have been promoting. We have some of the early users where we have few of the big e-commerce brands who have been experimenting, and we're going to launch it to other markets and other geographies down the line. Yeah, that was a quick presentation about Nimbus and what we do. If anybody have any questions, I'll be open to take it.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Yash, Ankit Saraf here. So I just, if you can clarify a bit on that bulk shipping part. So like while we ship to Amazon FBA, I mean, it's a bit technical. So while we ship to Amazon FBA, we bill it to Amazon. But then if we can do a bulk shipment to a third party warehouse and from there, so the billing happens to whom then?
So we have built multiple solutions towards it. One is like we have built a couple of vendors, a couple of partners among multiple countries who can act as a IOR and UR. Second is when you work with Amazon FBA, you also know like the challenges with FBA is the FBA goes expensive when your product is not selling, and you cannot destroy those products out of US or get those back basically. The way we have been designed the solution is, let's say you can send your, let's say 1,000 pieces to a dark warehouse in US that you store into the US market, dark warehouse. You can ship, let's say 100 or 200 pieces out of Amazon FBA. In case those are not selling, you can bring those back to again a dark warehouse. In this case, you solve two problems. One is you also sell on Amazon. You can also sell on all other platforms, including Walmart, eBay, and XYZ other local platform, US-based platform, which you are not able to do just because of being an Amazon exclusive, basically. So we have built multiple solutions. If you have your own entities in US, we can do that. Otherwise, we have built a whole vendor network who can do it for you, basically.
If you don't mind, can I ask one more question?
Can we do that offline, please?
Sure, we can connect offline.
So very sorry, Yash.
Sure.
Once
No
again,
worries, no worries.
We're really at the positive of time. Once again, appreciate the interaction here. And I'm sure many more of you also would have a lot of questions for Yash. He's looking forward to interacting with you. That was a fabulous presentation. Let's give him a big round of applause, please, everybody.